God, I mean, imagine being scared of spiders. How stupid of a thing is to terrify? What am I talking about? I'm talking about Arachnophobia. I don't know, kind of a weird film for me to be picking up on, given how it's, you know, what, 32 years old? Not to mention the Blu-ray is like, this is the 2012 Blu-ray release. Thank you for actually saying 2012 Blu-ray release. That doesn't really happen very often. But yes, this is Arachnophobia, a film I picked up a very long time ago. I think we may have watched it on DVD. We watched it on like TV a long time ago as a family, because it was like, mum and dad would always go on about it and be like, oh, it's because spiders are creepy. You know what your parents do when they're like, hey, you're scared of bugs because they're creepy and whatever the fuck. But like not you specifically being scared of bugs, but the general sense of bugs being creepy. Anyway, I have been dealing with a lot of spiders at work. Not my filming job, my one that works in a warehouse, which is great. I don't mind huntsmen personally, but daddy longlegs are scary as shit for me. I don't know. I actually get arachnophobia from them. It's a very weird thing. It's just because it's like they're so common. Whitetails. Fuck that, I can squash that bitch. But daddy longlegs, nope, you gotta get the hell away from me. So I figured I'd watch Arachnophobia, see if it did anything for me. It didn't. I'm now more terrified. Nevertheless, what is this film about? If you don't know what Arachnophobia is, it is a Frank Marshall film. It has Jeff Daniels in it, produced by Spielberg and Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, so get caught in a web of laughs. I hate when... I've looked at the special features as well. They really go into it's also a comedy. I mean, sure, but I mean, I guess because it's PG, mild horror. Anyway, one of the special features called it like a thrillology or something. It's like, it's the first Hollywood comedy thriller. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's been around since well before the 90s. Get caught in a web of laughs, thrills, and chills with Arachnophobia from legendary executive producer Steven Spielberg. Now available for the first time on digital restoration with enhanced picture and sound. It's not a 4K restoration, but it still looks pretty decent. Jeff Daniels and John Goodman star in this creepy comedy. John Goodman's the side character. Anyway, he's in like only a few scenes, but he's still great, I would have credited the wife over, or the other... professor. Anyway, creepy comedy crawling with the perfect mix of fun and fright. Everyone is afraid of something, full stop, but Jesus, whoever wrote this is a moron grammatically. But when Dr. Ross Daniels moves his family to a quiet place in the country, the one thing that bugs him most is terrifying everyone in town. The one thing that bugs him most is terrifying everyone in town, because they nickname him Dr. Death. Anyway, for this unlikely hero, overcoming a childhood fear of spiders might just save the day. Enjoy the hair-raising entertainment of Arachnophobia like never before on Blu-ray. Very weird description for the movie. Like, he doesn't come to the town and it's infested with spiders. The infestation grows when he moves there. Like, that's like literally a big thing in the start of the movie. Not the start of the movie. The start of the movie starts in Venezuela, and where you introduce the spiders, and the spider gets in the coffin of the guy it kills, gets flown to his hometown, gets out, gets grabbed by a crow, bites the crow, and then the crow dies, and it drops at Daniel's house, so at his character's house. Anyway, I guess I'll just talk about the visual audio, because as it goes, I do like this film. Video audio wise, sounded great. It has a 5.1 mix, but a 2.0 as well. But it does say 2.0 Spanish and French, whereas the 5.1 DTS HD is in English. So I just listened to that. It was an automatic play feature. I didn't have any audio issues at all, like none at all, which is fine. Video-wise, it looked really nice, but you could tell that there were elements of it being quite a dark film in certain stages, like the first nighttime scene. It's like there's a lot of crushing, and a lot of, not crushing, but where the black looks like a kind of off purple, off brown color. So, not perfect. It gets better as the film goes along to some degree. But yeah, because it might have just been because of how they shot it earlier in the film versus later in the film kind of deal. But this could definitely use with a 4K remaster, and it would look pretty goddamn nice. Not to mention, of course, that the spiders are practical, both having actual spiders and having animatronics, which, again, the special features in a bit. But yeah, video and audio-wise, it's a pretty good bundle. An almost perfect picture. Could use with a better remaster, because this could just be a basic 1080p remaster versus a 2K restoration or a 4K restoration. It's definitely not a 4K restoration. I mean, the fact that the all-new digital restoration is like very old slang for, oh, it's now digitally restored and everything. I'm like, what does that even imply? Like, does that mean it's a 2K master? I don't know. I mean, it looks good. It looks pretty sharp. So, you know. But yeah, so video audio-wise, it's a pretty good spot. Could be a bit better, but it's always one of those things where the nighttime scenes could always look better. Of course, special features. There isn't much. It details it all here, from the production featurette, the Frank Marshall featurette, the Venezuela sequence, and a trailer. Plus, it has like production stills or whatever. I didn't look into the trailer. Why would I bother? But all the rest of the three are just featurettes. Like, the only one that's different is the Venezuela sequence one, which is not actually, like, it's a featurette, but it's not the kind of one you'd have to advertise, whereas the other two feel like clearly a 4x3 to advertise on TV kind of thing. Go watch this movie, it's 1990, it's 1989, go watch this movie, you know, where they would like advertise a film by actually shooting out featurettes and whatever. So they feel like that very much so. You know, you got a bit of a clip show. You get the first one, the production featurette is them. I'll be honest, I don't really remember what the hell even happens in the production featurette, and I literally just watched it. It's kind of the vague, oh, this is kind of the story, this is what's happening, and it's, now he's got to deal with spiders, whoa, because he's got arachnophobia, oh, go watch the movie, kids. But then, like, it also emphasizes again the fact that it's a comedy horror, you know, it's a thriller, but it's a comedy. So not putting in the words horror, because otherwise to not scare you, but basically saying, like, the only thing that's really scary is the fact of if you're scared of spiders. So, that's about it. The Frank Marshall featurette, I think, was a bit better. It delved in a bit more into the fact that, like, oh, you know, he was always a, you know, second unit director or whatever, and now he's doing his first feature, like, directing feature. But then they actually go into how the cast feels about, you know, the movie and working with spiders. But then also, how do the spiders feel? It's like, oh, well, we gave them mini passports and brought them over from New Zealand. So there's some cute stuff in that one, which I think is a better featurette. It's just a better featurette in general. Like, it actually gives you an idea of how they made most of the film, where it's like, oh, yeah, they used real spiders, you know, they actually did the practical element of having a bunch of spiders in the room with people, and there will just be background elements of, you know, spiders just there, because it's not CGI or anything. The Venezuela sequence, they just talk about shooting the start of the film. It's basically like a minute. Most of these are like 90-second clips. The Venezuela one in particular, talking about, you know, how rough it was just for them to shoot the opening sequence, which is a good, solid, like, 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, and it's a good setup of the movie, in terms of just the spiders, how they get to America, all that kind of stuff. And it's a very creepy sequence. It reminds me of, it feels very Spielberg in a way, very much like maybe The Lost World, Jurassic Park. It feels very Jurassic Park in a way. But yeah, it was another nice featurette in a way. I don't think the production featurette was decent at all. It was fine, but it's like, you know, forgettable. Whereas the Frank Marshall one and the Venezuela sequence one were pretty decent. But as an overall, nothing much to write home about in terms of special features outside of some, like, you know, made-for-TV featurettes. you're not really getting much new. Everything else is just, there's no commentary. There's literally nothing else. So as a Blu-ray, it's very barren, but it's at least something. It is all regions, which is interesting. Like, of course, you look at the back of it, and you do get at least some details, so you can, watch this wherever. And it has one of those classic Blu-ray things where it will give you a reversible cover of the front, and then also say, oh, push in the center to release your Blu-ray, just in case you do not know how DVDs work. Imagine flipping this over and being like, what the fuck does that even mean? That'd be funny, but still. As an overall, pretty fun film, worth watching, and of course, if you want to get the Blu-ray, at least, despite having the big PG logo, it does have a nice cover, and now my images are orange. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this Anatomy for Blu-ray. I just felt like just doing a quickie in this case, just getting it over and done with. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I don't hear many people talking about it anymore, like a lot these days, but like it's a film that I feel like could go over like an extensive documentary into like how they did the practical effects and stuff. Like there's a lot they could go into, because it's also a movie that has like a lot of character actors as well. Like you can tell that they wanted to emphasize the comedy nature by also just adding a bunch of, character actors, and it's like, oh, we want people to make them feel like they live in this town, and this town's authentic and real and everything, and it's a solid flick, so go check it out. You don't need the Blu-ray to check it out though, but see you next time.